And welcome back. Bruce Porter joins us now for this week's Dollars and Cents segment, where he takes a viewer's email, tries to answer their financial question on air. Welcome. Good to see you again.
Thank you.
Let's take a look at today's question. My husband and I are retired, late 70s, and I have bank CDs making less than 5%. What can we do to earn more interest, have more future needs, if more for future needs if they come up, for instance, medical, and leave some of our children and grandkids something? We don't want to risk losing it. So how can you help these folks out?
Well, it's a very popular problem right now.
Yeah.
And I think it says half a percentage point, not 5%.
Excuse me. Yeah, that's right. It's 0.5%. Right. You're right.
So let's assume a lot of seniors, key here, late 70s. So let's assume they have no debt. They have Social Security income, maybe pension income, and let's assume that they've got a Medicare supplement. All right, a lot of people do. Those are the supplement you can buy to offset Medicare.
Right.
All right, so now that's going to help me address the medical question. A lot of people are concerned about having access to their money because of a big medical problem. Well, when you consider what's my supplement going to pay compared to Medicare, if you have a good supplement, like a Plan F,
right,
it's going to pay the majority of what Medicare doesn't pay. So that means that probably a significant amount of cash needed for a medical expense is not going to be likely.
Okay.
You might need it for traveling or going to a specialist, something like that. But for the most part, medical can be taken care of with immediate cash reserves,
with
things like that. That's what let's assume. Now, an idea, and there's lots of ideas to try to gain more interest. People want interest for income. A lot of people spend their interest earnings. They don't like to spend their principal.
Right.
So an idea, and there's several available, but one idea we're going to talk about that comes up quite often is this thing called a fixed annuity.
Yes.
All right? That's a very common question. People ask me to explain, what's a fixed annuity? What's a fixed indexed annuity? Well, those are products that are sponsored by an insurance company.
Right.
They're insured against risk because they're on a fixed chassis. The old fixed annuities paid a very minimal interest rate. The more modern fixed annuities have got several features that make them a lot more attractive. So, for example, you get safe, secure, protected money backed by the company that we would represent.
At that time of your life, you want something safe, something secure.
That's exactly right. Most people, late 70s, they don't want risk.
Right.
But yet, then again, they're maybe using that interest to supplement their Social Security. So they need as much interest as they can, because we all know cost of goods and services are continuing to go up.
You don't want to touch that principal either.
That's right. And if you want to preserve principal and gain more interest, a fixed or an indexed annuity is an option. It's safe, secure. It's got deferred growth. So even if 1 year you don't use all of your interest earnings, that remains deferred. So that you can take out what you need, and you'd get a 1099 on that. But if you had some excess earnings, they would remain in your account.
As long as you leave it there, you're not going to be taking a hit, in other words.
That's exactly right. So now you consider, what are these vehicles, these tools, what are they paying right now? Well, there can be argument for a 3 to 5% window, a 4 to 6% window. Point there being, even if it's 3% or 4%, it's still better than a half a percentage point.
Absolutely. If you get into that 3-4%, you're kind of keeping up with cost of living, things like that. That's great. Of course, when you're talking about all of these different things, and this is just the tip of the iceberg. This is why it's so important to be conversant with a financial planner.
I think so. I think if you talk to a professional, get some ideas, you can talk to your bank. They're going to be kind of handcuffed on what they can offer. If you call around to all the banks, rates are where they're at. Now, if you look for an alternative, without compromising what your gut tells you, which I want to keep my money safe, I want to keep it secure. There are all alternatives out there available that you can get a competitive interest rate and still have access.
All right, Bruce, thank you. Of course, a lot of
Thank you.
information.